When you're young, you tend to think that maybe the world is the reason as to why you're getting through or you're going through what you're going through. For instance, we tend to blame our parents. If you didn't have the privilege to come from a rich family and uh, you see your friends going out and they're having fun, then you're like, where are my parents when other people's parents were making money? So you had a relationship with an ex, you guys break up, and you're like, I don't trust people because my ex broke my heart. Maybe you had this uh, pathetic uncle or auntie that just didn't like you, and so they abused you, and so you're like, I don't have self-esteem because my auntie used to call me dwarf, or they used to tell me I wasn't looking good, and so it's like this has affected me. Yes. Okay, so basically whatever you're saying is true, but now what? Okay, now what? Okay, so you don't come from a rich family. Now what? You broke up with your ex maybe because they cheated on you. Now what? Your auntie didn't like you, and so they affected your self-esteem. Now what? Okay, you have the justification as to why you are the person you are today, but does that really make any change? Will you stay here for 20 years to blame your parents, to blame your auntie, to blame your ex for the things that you have control over? And I talked about this. You can go and watch my episode on Do This to Fix Your Life. Something about blaming other people is that when you tend to blame other people for your problems, you're ripping yourself of the power and giving this power, now passing off this power to another person. So you're like, my dad still has power over me because they were broke. You don't look at yourself today and you realize that there's something I can sell, there is a skill I can learn and make money. There is something, maybe you want to do sales and marketing, there's communication. You can go and sell something. I remember when I was in third year, I used to sell coffee on the street after my classes. And that is after I realized that I've been blaming my parents for so long for the things they got me through. And you remember, I have written a book, and there's chapter 3, I talk about self pity. Oh, okay, so I was just trying to tell people my story because I wanted them to sympathize with me, and that would make me feel good for a moment. But okay, after some point, I realized this is not really helping me become a better person. And so, most of the times, this is what we accustom ourselves to as young people. And I will tell you something very fundamental. The greatest reason as to why your life sucks, it's you. It's the fault in your life. You're just being irresponsible. You don't have you don't have money skills. You've never healed from your trauma. You don't know how to talk to people. You don't know how to interact with other people. So get yourself out of this story. The story you've been telling yourself. The self pity you're seeking. The validation you're trying to seek from other people by framing others by that maybe they were bad. Okay, they were bad, but how does it help you? Your parents didn't have the opportunities. You look at their lives and you realize that whatever they did was the best they could do anyway. So now you're seated there, you're 20. You're still referring to the story that happened in your 10 years. Like you're 10, today you're 20, you're still referring to the same story. So what is changing about your life honestly? So could we just get to a moment where, as young people, we try to change the conversations, we take responsibility for whatever is going in our lives. If it's healing, you need to heal. If you didn't have the privilege of coming from rich families, get time. There's so much information on YouTube. Like I was talking about something when Davido was in Kenya. You find that there are so many people who paid for the ticket. The ticket was 6,000, but there are so many books on financial skills. There are so many books on healing. There are so many books on personal development. But I had this book at some point, and yeah, I was reading the book. I was in my school, and so this guy approaches me and he's like, "Hey, Buddha, sijui kwani uko na shida?" Then I'm looking at him. I'm like, "Okay, bro, why do you think I have a problem? I'm fairly sure I'm doing very okay than even you are doing because I've really worked on myself and I'm still working on that. So why do you think I have a problem?" So young people tend to underplay or underrate the essence that comes with self-improvement. We've just focused on blaming other people. We never take responsibility for our own lives. And then what? Okay, what will happen next? You think your parents will be here for your whole lifetime. You think you'll always rely on your parents. At some point, life will ask you very brutal questions about your own existence. So your parents did this. At some point, you'll become a mom. You'll become a father. And how are you gonna treat your own children? Will you slap your kid and tell them, I didn't know how to treat people just because my father abused me when I was young? Really, that's cringe. Like, will you still be poor, living in that living in that cubicle, and get married to someone's daughter, and you'll always tell them, I'm not rich because my parents didn't look for money when other people's parents were looking for money? Are you still shy of getting out of your shell and meeting people just because you were abused by your auntie who made you feel insecure about yourself? So how long are we gonna do this? How long are we gonna blame other people and transfer the power of changing our lives to them? So young people, this is just an altar call. Please get responsible. Be the main story in your own life. Be the main story in your own making. I'm tired of seeing people, I've been out on the streets. I went to buy some eggs, and I meet these high schoolers. There are two young kids. They are smoking weed in the streets in a broad daylight. I'm like, what happened to these people? They are like in their 16 or 15. A young person smoking. Why are you intoxifying your own brain when you can literally work on becoming a better person? So stop the blame game. Become responsible. Become a participant in the making of your own life. Until next time, I'll see you guys. Take care. Peace.